For the invocation, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's invocation is being offered by Council Member Randy Foster.
Will you pray with me, please? Our Father and our God, we thank you for this beautiful day that you've given to us, and for the blessings of liberty that you have so bounteously poured out upon us. We thank you that in the midst of natural disaster, in the midst of war, we nevertheless enjoy great riches of spirit and of material things in this land, and we know that it all comes from you. We would ask your blessings upon our President, upon the Congress, upon our Governor and the General Assembly, upon our Mayor, and upon this body as it deliberates tonight. We would ask that each of us, in our considerations, in our thoughts, and in our focus, will focus upon the things that are good and righteous altogether. It is in Jesus' name that I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Without objection, we'll suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of the members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for... We have no minutes, sorry. Sorry, this is a different than we normally do it. Yes, Councilmember Langster.
Could I be recognized for a moment of personal privilege?
Sure.
Will you join me in welcoming a very important person to our body tonight? We know her husband quite well. The wife of Mr. Bernhardt, Richard Bernhardt, is present tonight. Will you stand? Stand up.
Okay, first on our agenda is BL 2011-873, abandons a 10-inch sanitary sewer line and easement between Madison and Jefferson Streets. Councilmember Hodge, are you handling this?
Yes, ma'am. Committee report.
Councilmember Gatto.
Planning zoning approved 8-4-0 against. We have an amendment that we need to move.
The amendment clarifies that this bill is abandoning all easements that were retained by the 2007 ordinance that abandoned these alleys. This is to enable the development to move forward.
Move the amendment, please.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of the amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Move as amended, please.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is BL 2011-902, adopts a plan for redistricting the councilmatic districts and revising the school districts of Metro Nashville. Are you handling? Councilmember Gatto.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. The Planning Zoning Committee approved this plan by a vote of 8-4-0 against, and I move approval with a very brief explanation.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Cooper.
There's actually a housekeeping amendment we need to offer to this to incorporate the written descriptions of the boundaries, which are all on your desk. So if we could do that first and then approve as amended.
Move the amendment.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Opposed, no.
Renew my bill on the bill as amended. Renew my motion, excuse me.
We have a motion and a second.
The bill that's before us, I gave this explanation to the Planning Committee, and some of you have already heard it, but I just want to make sure everybody understands where we are with this bill. We cannot amend this bill in any way. This bill has to either be voted up or down by the council. And if you want changes in the redistricting that has been done, your only option is to vote no. And if the council should not adopt this plan, then what happens, the council has 90 days to come up with a new redistricting plan. Obviously, we would have to have the assistance of the planning staff to do that. That bill would then have to pass the council on 3 readings, and it would have to go to public referendum, and all that has to happen within 90 days of the day that we disapprove this bill that's before us. So just want to make sure everybody understood that. If we had a lot of discussion and comment at the planning committee meeting, and if somebody wants to comment about it, then I certainly think that would be appropriate. However, if you want to talk about changes that need to be made, I don't think this is the proper venue, and quite frankly, you're just barking up a tree you can't climb. So thank you.
Councilmember Foster, did you wish to speak? Councilmember Lalone?
Yes, I said this at the committee meeting, and I'd like to say it again, that I've had some discussions about it. I haven't sensed a great opposition to this plan. I think the Planning Commission did a fine job of listening to us, listening to the public, figuring out ways to make a painful experience less painful. There is pain involved. There's no doubt about that. But I just ask my colleagues that if there is opposition to this, other than just the general difficulty that it presents, that they let us know what those reasons are and why they're opposing it, so that I might make a more informed vote. I do intend to vote for it, but if there are objections to it that I have not heard, I'd like to hear them now. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Stanley?
I'd just like to voice my appreciation to Rick Bernhardt and Department of Planning for putting together this redistricting bill in such a tight space, tight time. I'm very appreciative of that. I think it's important that everyone here, as well as everyone watching, they understand that this 40-member board, municipal legislature, is the third largest in the United States, behind New York, which has 51, and Chicago, which has 50. New York has a population of over 8.2 million. So that means that each of those 51 council members represents about 160,000 people. And in Chicago, they have 50 members, but they represent about 2.8 million people. That means each council member represents approximately 56,000 people, constituents or citizens within the community. This community here, Metro Nashville and Davidson County, is unique in the fact that we have a population a little over 600,000. That makes us one of the premier urban areas in our nation. But because each council member represents approximately 18,000 individuals, that's much less than what New York or Chicago represents. And I think that we have an obligation to make sure that these individuals that come to us, that we are elected to represent on the Metro Council, that they come to us and that we are listening to them first and foremost. But I think that I'm very appreciative of this plan. I think this plan is wholeheartely, it has my support wholeheartedly. And I think this council, one of the premier things that I think is associated with this council, one of the reasons that I've been very appreciative of being elected to serve on this council, is the fact that it is the third largest municipal legislature, Metro Council, throughout in all of the United States. And I think we, by going through and passing this bill, we will have obligated ourselves to the citizens that have elected us. I'm very appreciative of Mr. Bernhardt, the Metro Law Department, and any other individuals, especially Chairman Gatto. I'm appreciative of him, and I would say that I'm supportive of this at this time. Thank you.
Councilman Gatto?
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Very briefly, I want to thank Mr. Bernhardt and the planning staff. We did this in the planning committee, but want to do it again. And Mr. Bernhardt's wife was very supportive of the staff as they worked long hours with, I think, bringing them food and trying to keep them breathing while they were doing this. There's the situation as I understand it, and I said in the planning committee meeting, I'm not sure if I'm going to vote for this or not. I'm going to vote for it tonight. I'm not sure what I'm going to do on third reading. I think I know, but I want to reserve that right to change my mind. At least nobody knows how I'm going to vote one way or the other at this point. But if we vote to redistrict, then we avoid the problem of having people that represent individuals that didn't have an opportunity to vote for them to represent them, and that's a serious problem. That's a serious issue. What we do, though, is we create a hardship, a possible hardship or an issue with those folks that have already pulled petitions. They have named treasurers, they're raising money, they're campaigning, and they're spending money, and they may have spent money in areas that they no longer are campaigning for. In fact, they may now be in a district where they would rather not run against the individual that they're going to have to run against, be it an incumbent or be it another candidate, for whatever reason. They may be friends with them. They may not feel like they can be. I mean, all kinds of things. So we're in a situation here where we're going to have to vote on what we think is the lesser of two evils. And again, I just wanted to, in deference to Councilor Lalonde, I wanted to make it clear where I am in this process, and I will be making a decision between now and next Tuesday to either vote for or against this, obviously. And I thank everyone for their support. We did have, I think, 4 requested amendments at the Planning Commission, and I carried 3 of them, and the planning staff was very good to sit and try to work with everybody on those amendments and look at it and see if they could be accommodated. And again, I take this opportunity to thank everybody here for the support you've given me for the last almost 8 years now as your representative on the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Councilmember Foster.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. And I want to respond to something that Chairman Gatto said, and I understand what he said and why he said it. And perhaps what I have to say comes from the thoughts of a term-limited council member who's not running for anything else. But the reason that we redistrict, of course, is because of changes in population and because there is a fundamental issue that's enshrined in the law based on some problems we had here in Tennessee a long time ago, the idea that each person's vote should be equivalent to the others, that the highest and the lowest should be the same. And that's why we redistrict. That's why we've done it now, and hopefully by accomplishing it now we can avoid litigation which could throw these elections into turmoil. And I will say this again, as a 2-time candidate, it's very important that we realize that the things that the government does, the decisions that we make, are not for the convenience of candidates. I understand that some have had hardships, but this is what's been happening has not happened in a vacuum. So these are the exigencies of politics, and sometimes difficult things happen. So I am supportive of where we're headed with this. I would have liked to have seen more representation in the southern and southeastern part of the county, but we are picking up a seat, which I think is a very important thing. Thank you.
Councilmember Lalonde.
Well, I guess I'm taking up more than my fair share of time. And I don't know that this is the right moment to say it, but I do want to thank Councilmember Gatto for his service as our representative on the Planning Commission. And
Councilman Gatto.
That's okay. He's busy.
Councilman Gatto.
He's always working.
Councilman Gatto. Councilman Gatto. You're getting a compliment.
I'm complimenting you, and you're not even knowing it. It's fabulous. You're so busy working. I was saying, I don't know if it's an appropriate moment to say it, but we had a conversation the other day, and I won't be on this body anymore, and we were wondering how we'll move forward and how we'll have a representative on the Planning Commission for the council, and what a difficult job that is. That is twice as much work as a regular council member takes. I've always felt very fairly represented there, and that he was always advocating for each of our district council people, and I just want to thank him for that. So, and you were busy doing work, so thank you for that. And I'm going to stop talking now because nobody else is talking.
Councilmember Cole.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I would move the previous question.
All in favor of previous question, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. A motion to adjourn until Tuesday.